let's say I'm a record producer,
Right.
and I've got 12 tracks
Yeah.
that I've recorded. Each one, took a couple of days,
Mm-hmm.
and now I've got a whole this. It's all mixed and ready to go.
Yep.
I hand it to you. What do you do with that?
Well, you make sure that the sequence goes smoothly, flows smoothly. If there are big discrepancies between tracks and level and EQ, you deal with those so that they.
So in some cases you EQ them.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
EQ. If you want to make it loud, you compress it. If you want to bring, compression is still going on all over the place with mastering. So there's still the loudness issues. You're trying to make it compete with other records that are commercially available. Mostly that's what happens in mastering. But in audiophile work, it's a little bit different. I think you're trying to get it across in its as close to the original as possible. If there needs to be a little change, maybe some EQ, maybe a little bit of compression if needed. Maybe bringing the vocal out a little more. So it's a similar thing, but the loudness, things are not so much an issue.
Right. So just to wrap that, so mastering is making everything the same volume level and to have a similar sound,
or making it sound better. If someone's working in a studio and they're listening to the studio monitors and they have a character that sways it in one direction, maybe it needs to be EQ'd. Sorry. Maybe it needs to be EQ'd differently to be kind of compatible with what's going out there in the world. So just making it sound good. I mean, often it sounds great and you don't have to do much. But there are times when, maybe the control room monitors that they were working on were very colored. And, when you're in the studio listening to control room monitors, they're generally not the flattest things, so they're not the best reference. If you know them, maybe you got it right. If you don't know them, the mastering engineer always knows his speakers and always knows what's going to come out of his place when it goes out.
Do you always have the same speakers for mastering?
I've always used the same speakers. I'm very comfortable with those.
But that seems like kind of a prerequisite to really know your
You have
speakers.
to know the speakers. That's absolutely essential.
Yeah. And so you use the Sonys.
That's what I've been using.
And what does someone like Steve Hoffman use?
When we worked on the Nat King Cole stuff, he used the ATCs that we have over at PS Audio. Same speakers.
Have you worked much with Steve?
No, just on that project.
Just on that Nat King Cole project.
Right. I mean, to me, it's very flat. The Sonys are a very flat reference, and I'm very comfortable with those.
Yep. Yeah, it would seem knowing your speaker would be really important.
And knowing the room you're in.
Yeah. The room too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And being able to hear, the speakers have to be able to produce what you need to hear. So have to produce the low frequencies, and they have to work in the room that you're in. Doesn't always happen that way, but.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure.